not an expert on this air ride stuff by any stretch. Perfect. Put that in a drill, like so, and file. Homemade lathe. Excited? I am. Like, this is a big milestone, like running all this stuff. Hey guys, welcome back to DMAC Customs in the garage. Well, Dave here in the garage, which is DMAC Customs on the YouTube. Airbags, gonna put some in there hopefully today, as long as the weather holds out, so to get this outside. Check that out too while we're looking at it. That's all the stone guard all dried and stuff on the inside floors. Starting to look like something, and all underneath is all, probably can't see very well, but it's all painted and done on the underside. If you haven't seen that video, go and check it out. And but yeah, airbags, so got a little bit of prep work before we can put those in and run those air lines. So gotta go digging through all the parts and find my bag mounts and stuff like that, so let's get at it. This is a disassembled 51 Chev, mostly lives in here. So I've got to find my bags, and they're in that far corner, all the mounts that I need, right up over there, buried. So I'll just grab those and then we'll get into it. Okay, so plan for today is put the bags and run the lines for the all the air ride and stuff in the chassis. I've got all the air lines and hopefully all the fittings I need. But won't be doing all the final kind of fittings and stuff like that, because can't do that until the body's on the chassis and all that kind of stuff, and we've kind of painted up inside the boot and things like that. But what I got to do is strip these out. These were the bags I used for mock-up, that Conti Tech things, second hand. When I got them as a sort of second hand kit to kind of start fabricating what I needed, so I've used those for mock-up. But I've got new 6-inch bags. They're 7s, so I went with a 6 just to give me a little bit more clearance. But these are the bits that I want out of this mess, so I've got to kind of take these, clean them up, give them a bit of a paint before I put them in there, because they're for the front. Washers are a bit big. I wonder if I try and find some more fitting washers, more fitting, or make something. Alright, these have got push connect fittings in them. Oh, actually came out quite easy. That one did. Yeah. Come on, get out. Okay. Ooh. That was my little jerry rigged Schrader valve I think I put in for mock-up. I'll keep that, even though it might come in handy. I guess maybe 9/16. Isn't this one? This is the thing with these bags, they're all different. It's part of the reason why I decided to get 4 new bags. This air ride kit that I bought second hand off the old Trade Me was out of a 64 Impala or something, or 59 Impala, I can't remember now, but it, when I got it I noticed even the bags of the same brand had differences. Is that going to come off? I need to untake the fitting out. How do I do that? How did I even get it in there? Any minute now. May have to pop out and go and buy some things that I need to use to hook this up, because I want to hook up the front and back bags just on a temporary thing so I can blow it up and put it down and stuff like that. Fitting, there we go. That's that's what I want. Oh. Yeah, what do you got? Here it is. Found it. Come on. Alright, must be some kind of metric in there. At this point I'm just guessing. So there we go. It is a metric. These are actually branded. Airride. Must be Airride Technologies stuff. But I've marked a couple of little arrows inside them, I think, for left and right. I have to figure that out, and I'll maybe centre punch some markings in there just to, so when I put this back together I know which side to put them on. But before I do any of that, I'll check that they fit the new bags properly. Okay, so that's the new bag. So we're just going to do a quick check to make sure all my fitting holes line up and stuff like that. Yep, so look, bolt through those, and that's when my fitting will go down into there. That one's been wallet out at some stage. I can't remember whether I did that or not, but it's all good. These are these bags here that I'm going to be running are Airlift, I think they were in the end. Yeah, Airlift 2500s. Mixed reviews on the interwebs and that as far as how good they are, but they all had mixed reviews, so I really don't know. So I'll just run them, see what happens. I'll figure these out and we'll be back. Okay, so just had a thought. This is the fitting that has to go through into the top of the bag. So it's going to be down in there like that, and I just thought it's not gonna fit. So I'm gonna have to, mark a radius on there and just wallow that out some more to make it so I can get that fitting in when the bag's bolted on. You know what I'm saying? And not foul up on that shit. just the little things, So I need a pencil, maybe. This might be a bit on the small side, but it saves me walking all the way across the other side of the garage, and it's a long way. I need something to make a radius out of. Oh, that might be right. A little bit awkward, but just using the inside radius of this Teflon tape roll. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to take out of there. So I have to find a suitable method to grind that out. Die grinder? Is it too early? 8:30. That'll be right. Alright, fire up the compressor and grind that out. Alrighty, so look at that. That'll clear the fitting. It's real tight on that sort of little nut there, but as long as I park the fitting flats kind of horizontal to those things there, we should be all good. Okay, not sponsored in any way, but yeah, just used some professional acrylic lacquer and gave those a couple of coats. So I'll just let those dry off. Next on my agenda is to try and suss out some fittings so I can kind of pump them up and lower them down without hooking up the whole thing. So what I'm saying is just so I can hook up the front, pump them up, lower them down with like ball valves or something like that. So I may have to go and see if I can buy them, but I might have one or two stashed away in a box. So that old vacuum cleaner box up on the on top of that cabinet over there. There somewhere. Might be one in there or two, possibly, with any luck. We'll go and have a look. Nope, not in there. Don't know what I have done with them. All my plumbing stuff, that was all electrical stuff. So I got it somewhere, but it's probably going to take me longer to rummage through this kind of mess to find anything like that. So it might be worth my time just to go for a trip into the mount and go and buy some new ones. But yeah. Okay, back with some fittings and valves and stuff like that. It's raining in town, so I just quickly pushed the chassis out onto the driveway to start dusting it off and stuff, and I was going to push the body out and the chassis back in, sweep the floors and all that sort of shit. But now it started to rain, so if it holds off, or if it comes through and then goes away, then I can get the body out of the way. But it looks like I might be doing the whole climb around underneath thing, which I really didn't really want to be doing, but it is what it is. So hopefully I can make up my temporary valves out of this stuff and get these bags mounted and in place and my lines all in and clipped up and all that kind of stuff. That was my plan. Anywho, so plan is still going to start up the front. These old bags that I mocked it all up with had 2 bolts in the bottom, so my bag plates in the bottom of my A-arms have got 2 bolt holes. I don't know if you can see that, but see, 2 bolt holes. And these new bags in the bottom, I've got 1 center bolt hole. So got to mark out new holes, drill those, touch up the paint, and then we can mount those bags up, hopefully. Okay, so about an hour later, I've finished trying to figure out how to get the bags in there without taking A-arms and stuff off, which I've done. Probably scratched some stuff up, but yeah, that's kind of how it is. But I just wanted to check that my hole, if I just put a new center hole in, it's actually still going to be in the right place. Now it looks like I've got heaps of clearance, front, back, all around. So, and I'll put a wee mark in there where the center of the bag is. So now I've just got to wrangle it back out again and figure out where to mark my hole. Actually, I might just put a little mark. It's kind of where it wants to sit naturally. It's not quite at ride height, it's actually a little bit higher than ride height. So once it, that A-arm comes up a little bit, we'll get more of that for the old suspension. Hit it at the even planes. Hopefully that's how it works. Not an expert on this air ride stuff by any stretch. This is going to be only the second air ride vehicle that I've ever had, and the first one that I've set up. The last one I had was kind of mostly set up by someone else, and I just had to rework and kind of fix a few things to get it all legal. But yeah, so that's my plan. Now I've just got to get this back out. Okay, looking at this out now, bag was kind of wanting to sit naturally there, and if I put a center hole in there, it's going to push it back ever so slightly. So I might, is it really, that's the center of the bag there. I don't think it's going to make a whole hell of a lot of difference if I just bang a hole in through there, eh? Yeah, or if it go square it straight off there. Nah, it's only, we're talking millimeters. I'll just center between those 2 original holes and drill a new one. A little mark there, a little mark there, and I'll rule a line like so, And see, I went and actually walked across the garage and got my flash pencil. So about 60 mil, so 30. That's where I'm going to drill my hole. Just fit. I'm Sean's talking to Abby, and I might give this a bit of a sand and a repaint. I don't know why that's kind of flashing up like that. The rest of the A-arm's not. Get a punch in. Yep, I think I got it. This ain't gonna work, man. I wonder if I jack it up a bit higher. I'm gonna have to drill this from underneath, damn it. Alright, so can't get a ruler in up under there to rule a line, so I just like put my marks on a bit of paper and I'll use that as a ruler and a measure. Let's go get some gloves on. Okay, so while that paint's drying, I guess I'll start figuring out my temporary valvage to be able to kind of pump these up and down. Like the bags will go in, they'll be in permanently, the lines will be in permanently, but these little extra kind of valves I'll just tee in and just kind of use them to be able to kind of like play with it while I'm setting up the exhaust and bring it up and down if I need to move it around and shit like that while it's not running. Definitely easier to push it around when the wheels aren't doing this, you know what I'm saying? So, where do I start? Got all this stuff, so I might take that back off before I go too much further. So I've got to put the fittings in the bags, seal it with all the sealant stuff and things like that. Unscrewing this thing here. Yep, see? Ding! Might as well set up all 4 bags while I'm in air fitting mode, you know what I'm saying? Again, don't know how many times to go around this. It's raining again. I was just thinking I might be able to push the body outside and get it out of the way, and then I look up and it was raining again, so it's not happening. That should hopefully be enough. Washing machine still beeping. Get it started by hand. Hopefully that's all good. Alright, 2 more to go, and then I'll put the actual push connects on. Alright, these are my little weeny 1/4 inch push connects. So they're just going to go in there. Had to do it in a 2-piece because we couldn't get sort of 1-piece 1/4 inch elbows to fit these bag ports. So that's just why I'm doing it in a 2-piece. I didn't really want to, but that's all they could supply me. So it's more of a it's just an extra point that you could potentially leak, which if you've ever had an air ride system before, leaks can be an absolute pain in the you know what, you know. There's the swivelly ones as well, so I can park that wherever I need it. One down, 4 to go. Right, last one, done. Okay, right, we'll take a couple of them, they're going to be our fronts, and put these on. So I want to put, thinking I might put an O-ring through there for where the line goes through actually, as well. Just like that. Bolt those on. Line up the push connect. And find a grommet. Alright, I think. Let's have a look. They might fit there. Look, it might be a little bit on the big side, but the next size down I've got way too small. So looks like these guys are it. 2 of those. I've got one left. Yeah. Come on, get in there. Go on, you can do it. She's close. Perfect. It's just a bit puckered over on the other side actually. Yeah, there it does. That'll work. Got to do the other one yet. Oh, look at that, lunchtime. I'll do the other one after lunch. Alrighty, so back from lunch, and then I went out, so now I'm just back doing a couple of little bits more. It's getting a bit late in the day, but I might cut some of this stuff, this hosey stuff, you know, the 1/4 inch dot rated air pipe stuff. Let's give this a bit of a squeeze down. Finger over it. Not enough. Jam. Down. Hopefully my bolt hole lines up. Where is it? That's the middle one. This is the tricky part. Alignment tool. There it is. Get that started. The other side. Alright, so what next? Plug the lines in while I can see before I do my centre bolt thing. Nice, nice clean edge. Yeah, looks alright. Hopefully you can see in there, and then push that all the way home. Beauty. That's going to come out somewhere. I don't know where I'm going to run that yet. No, like that, probably more of a straight shot. There's a body mount, so it'll probably come up like that, maybe. I don't know. To there anyway. It's going to run to there. It's going to run in tandem down with that fuel line. Alrighty, so it's a bit dark, but got both the front bags in and the lines plugged in and tightened up the anchor bolts and stuff like that. Still got to trim the threaded rod that is holding the top center, but I'll do that tomorrow once I'm dead set that it's all good. So far it's looking like it should be. So yeah, I'll leave it at that for today because it's dark outside. It's supposed to be really shit weather for next week, for the rest of this weekend and that anyway, so I'm going to be climbing around under here trying to figure out where to run my lines to do the front lines, heading them up the back, up to back here somewhere. So till tomorrow, see you then. Hey guys, next day, right, so last night I hooked up my little T-line thing in here and put some air and had a little play with the front bags on this and left it just up a bit and they're holding air so they're not leaking. Couple more things we've got to do to this. I want to cut these down, and also I'll show you in a sec, but the whole, I just want to trim these off a bit so we don't have this big threaded rod sticking out of here. But the hole is a bit on the large side, so I want to find a way to kind of locate that a little bit better, and then that'll be finished. So first up, I'm going to pull those out. I might mark them with tape or something so I know where I want to cut them. Pull those out and I'll show you what I mean. Alright, so just chuck a little bit of tape around here. I want to have a minimum of 2 threads hanging out of there, so I'll leave a little bit more. Keep cert man happy. That's a cert thing. Like that. Alright, I need to go and get some poly grips actually, so unscrew that. So this is what I'm talking about here. This, hopefully you can see it, that hole there. I want to fill that a little bit, just something, you know, modify a washer with a sort of spacer thing, so these aren't kind of floating. So I've got a bit of an idea. Okay, so here's my plan. I'm going to cut a couple of pieces of this tube and weld them into these washers and then grind it all flush, and that'll be, you know, kind of help isolate or centralize that threaded rod down inside that thing on the front end. Now it's not as snug a fit as I would like, so, but it's pretty close. It's better than having that kind of, with the ability to kind of to float. It would float maybe a little bit, but I'm wondering if I could maybe, if I had a lathe, boy, if I had a lathe and knew how to use a lathe, I would have this figured out, but I don't have a lathe. I've only ever used one once in my life, and so I can't, you know, just turn a piece of that down sort of thing. Have I got anything else? Scrap metal drawer. That's a bit munted. I did think about using a like a top shock mount bush. I have got one kicking around over there. Well, got some kicking around, but again, they're not quite right. I wonder if I could trim them, melt them. Don't know, something. I might have another look at that. Hang on a sec. So this is the bush. Yeah, it's a shock absorber bush, I think. It's urethane, and I thought maybe we could use that, but that little extrusion there is still too small. But check it out, haven't got a lathe, but I machined that down so it fits. It's a bit grubby still, like I'll give it a good clean and stuff, but that now fits in that hole, and so that will centralize that center stud. I'll show you how I made it. Pretty simple really, haven't got a lathe, so got a bolt and a drill. So I just got a big bolt, I'll whack it through there onto there. I've got a measurement of what I want, So I'll keep checking that and put that in a drill like so, and file, homemade lathe. And that's pretty much it. I just keep going for a while longer until I've got the diameter that I want, and we have a custom made soft mount bush. So let it cool off a little bit. Not much. Use a bit of wax and grease remover on there just to give it a final clean up. The only reason being is because it was on the bench in front of me. Just like that. So that's number 2 done. That one didn't actually come out quite as nice. I think I was trying to go a bit too fast, but the ugly bit's going to be underneath anyway. So get this bolt out. That's how you do it. You whack it with the multi-tool. Wash your fingers. And then, there you go. Just like that. I'll show you how it goes. Hopefully it fits. Otherwise I'll look like a dork. That's just going to sit down in there. I have to recheck my measurement for my, that fits perfect actually, for my things. I'm going to have to extend that by about that much, but I'll mark that, cut those, and I can put those back in, and then that's those front bags done ski. Battery's just about dead. New battery, done ski. Made me think of a bloke that I used to go to high school with called Dunsky. That was his last name. Never heard of one since, but yeah, wonder if he's still around out there somewhere. Can't remember his first name. His last name was just unusual, so it's stuck in my head. I'll remember it probably later. But anyway, I'll clean up this other one because that's got a bit of kind of old second-hand stuff marks on it. Alrighty, so now I just got to trim that back with the old zip disc, but I've got to make an adjustment now to where I was going to cut them before and cut them just a scotch longer. These will compress in that as I tighten them up, but I won't show you that on the old VHS. So I'll just get ahead, do that, and yeah, because it's not exactly rocket surgery, is it? So you've seen me cut stuff up with the old zip disc before. Just imagine it fully closed. Don't you get all weird on me. Okay, cut these up. Alright, start reassembling. I'm going to put a bit of Loctite on the end of these, just for extra good measure. Just this 243 thread locker. Don't know, it's not like the super duper grunty one, I don't think, but grunty enough. Just kind of double nutted it for now. Might have to take the load off of that so I can centre it up. Just like that. That's right. Figure it out. There it is. Yorty. Right, let's do the other side. Okay, so they're done. Now, these brake lines have been bothering me, these flexi lines have been bothering me for ages. Now I did have them coming through this bottom hole on the shock mount and through to the factory tab sort of thing. And there was always kind of issues with them kind of rubbing on stuff, and kind of at full lock they were kind of rubbing on shocks and pulling hard on this thing here, and just I thought it's gonna just give me grief in the long run. So I thought, I wonder if I could try them through here, and you know, kind of just put the clip in there and reroute this, kind of loop it back on itself and back up into there. And I don't think that's what I'm going to do. I've just had the old inner fender in and placed in, and I've done full extension and up and down and wiggled around and all that kind of stuff, and it doesn't seem to be fouling on anything at all. So that's my plan. I can't see a reason why this isn't a better way to run this. I was hung up on using the factory stuff, but obviously they're not factory calipers and things like that, because it would have been drum brakes back in the olden days when this was a new car. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I might just make that change, and then I can run my airline through that hole with the grommet in it. See what I'm saying? Because I think that might be the better idea. Well, I'm going to do it and see what happens. So I'll do it, rebend it. Worst case scenario, it's a bit of scratch paint and have to make up a new brake line, but never fear, I've got the mickiest brake line tool. Go and watch that video. Second favourite tool, probably my first favourite tool at the moment still, that and my reverse gun. But yeah, got to tighten those shocks up. But yeah, I reckon if anyone can see a real major issue with that, let me know. I can't find anything. I thought it might get pinched up here at full droop with the inner fender, but nah, it clears everything. It's got heaps of flex for, you know, full lock either way. It doesn't seem to want to rub on anything, whereas before I was getting some kind of rub everywhere. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, well, I'm going to tighten those shocks up before I forget. Yorty. Alright, I might undo that so I can pull this out and rejiggerize it. Okay, so as you've seen, tried to do the rearrange trick, but it was just going to look real rude, so did the old cut it off and try to use the bench mounted flare tool, not on the bench trick. Hopefully it worked. Flare looked okay, I think. Didn't actually look that hard at it, to be fair. So other side though, I'm going to have to remake a whole piece of line because there's not enough length in it, and that's okay. It's only a little short piece, goes from the splitter through to the the thing. So I might just jump ahead, get that done, and then we can carry on running the lines. Alrighty, so I think I showed you that side brake line routed. Ended up remaking this whole section here just so I could run it up. What's that little mark on there? Onto the new location rather than down low. I've left the P-clips and that off just yet because they're gonna get used most likely to run the double up on the airlines as well. So that's what we're doing next. Excited? I am. Like, this is a big milestone, like running all this stuff. This is like final stuff, hopefully. Well, when I say final, I tend to end up redoing stuff like brake lines and drive shaft, drive line angles and important stuff, you know. But better to redo it and get it right, hey, you know. I just noticed that lock nut's not done up on that shifter linkage. Should do that up before I forget. Pretty sure it's all adjusted correctly. Yeah, just quickly. Yeah. That one's done. Why didn't I do that one? Who knows? Need one of those little green pens and a tick and a OK next to everything. Pull that there. There. Put that somewhere safe for now. Put it back on the bench. There, safe. Right. So now the hard part, trying to figure out how to route, where to route all this sort of stuff. Now I'm thinking this side here, I'm going to bring it across and through one of those, or should I do it through both? I'll have a look, see how it runs through one. I may end up putting another grommet in there and running it through both, and then it'll come up over the top here and whatnot, up over the top here. See what I'm saying? Yeah. Alrighty, so this is what I have decided on. I'll run them up one hole higher on the shock bracket mount thingy bob. She is a little close to that edge there, but if I can put a little bit of sort of slack in it, it should be alright. Just, it misses, but I thought, yep, that's perfect, it just flows over the top. But this is where that front body mount is that I rebuilt the other week. I run a straight edge across here. Oh, not this one, but as long as I get that airline pulled back towards that inner one, sort of like that, the it won't interfere with the body mount. It won't get pinched, is kind of what I'm trying to say. You understand? Hopefully. That doesn't sound too condescending, does it? But yeah, so I've got to do that, start pinning these. I've got a redundant riv nut thing there now, but that doesn't matter. Something may go in there later on. Might put some neons or something on it. But yeah, so I've just got to start kind of pinning this up all the way down to the back, and figure out what we're going to do when we get to the C notch. I'm not quite sure yet. I don't know, think about that. Bloody rain, look at that, miserable. Alrighty, that's one side all pegged up all the way through. That's painful, like doing that by hand. I'm just going to run them up to there for now. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. I know where they've got to go, up above here, you know, but I'm just not 100% sure how I'm going to get them up to the valve block yet, like in this area, you know what I'm saying? So for now I'm going to leave that there, and I'll jump ahead and do this other side. I won't film that because, like, it's kind of boring. It's real hard on the fingers though, man. It's punishing, like it's just doing the little things and the little, trying to get the little clips and pull them tight. I should use some pliers. In fact, I might go and grab some pliers so I can pinch them up. Yeah, so I just got to basically rinse and repeat, do this other side so I get a similar thing. I may have to put an extra riv cert in here to get through our, unless I pull that back out and put it on the outside of that brake line. I probably should actually, then I can just double up onto that T, and that should be enough, unless I get the tape measure out, because it's every 300 millimeters, and then nerdy, might be able to tag one onto that other thing there. I don't know, I'll figure it out and I'll get back to you. Alrighty, so now update. Got all of this side's all pinned up. That's the air line running all the way through there. I'm glad I didn't video it, because that last one up there on the step notch, that just turned into the ultimate shit fight. Now, I don't really like to swear and stuff too much on my videos, but man, if I'd been recording, I would have been dropping some F-bombs on that little mofo, because far out, just trying to get the what do you even call it, these little bloody screws, what are they called, the button head things, that just didn't want to come out. Got it all sideways and it just like tore all the thread out of it, and it just would not go any further. Tried doing it by hand, tried doing it with the rattle gun, and ended up having to cut that little mother out with a bloody zip disc, and then re-drilling and re-tapping and all that kind of malarkey. And so temperature rose, put it that way. She got pretty warm in this hoodie. I was swearing, and ended up wounding myself with the old cheap nasty vice grips. Don't buy them, spend the money, get better ones. They went twisted sideways and pinched the skin on my thumb, the thumb that I'm holding the camera with. And so there was more swear words and a little bit of crying and stuff like that. But I got there in the end. Got there, and man, I'm glad that's done. So next up, I just got to do the back bags. That, I don't want to say it should be easy, but after that little fiasco, it might not be. This was supposed to be just bolt the bags in, clip the lines up, done, you know, 3 or 4 hours, but man, we're at day 2 now. But yesterday I didn't get a full day, I only got a couple of hours at it. And I had, you know, obviously rebuilding some of the brake lines and rerouting, that sort of shit kind of holds you up, slows you down. But yeah, crikey, what a mush that thing was. You know, there's sharp things on the floor, and you know, cut off button head thing, bloody stuff. But it's done. So let's just get over it, get past it, and clean up my mess. I'm going to move the body as far forward as I can, so I can actually hopefully do some work where I'm not crouched underneath here banging my head on things and stuff like that. But look at that. Look at that. Shiny. It's shiny black. Hey, that sounded kind of a little weird and a bit creepy, but it's shiny black. All up under here. Looks cool. I haven't unmasked anything yet, but leave that. Can't be bothered. Got to sort these bags out and don't get sidetracked. Okay, so I'm going to be able to reach this without fighting with my limited space. I just had another little tantrum getting tangled up in that little BMX bike down there. it's one of those days, you know, started off like smooth sailing and then it just went sideways. Now I probably should have packed it in at that sideways point, but I've got to get this done, man. Like, you can't just go home crying and throw all your toys out the cot, so you got to get shit done. Anyway, carry on. Alrighty, so another hurdle. The bags that I mocked up this with, and I got all my measurements and stuff from, have a different bolt centers than I have made my top plates for. So I've drilled some new holes and touch up some paint and stuff like that. I've got to make sure the holes are going to all land in the right places. Could be die grinders involved, who knows. So I've got to go and do some scientific calculations and just see how far out these holes are going to be. The center one will be alright, because that's how I set up the bottom plate. So go figure. Stay with me here, I'm just trying to figure something out. Of course, I can't get round there. I think that's it. Okay, so that's my centre. Because now my ruler's too long. Need a shorter ruler. Will that get in there? Yep. So I'll just quickly rule that. What I was trying to figure out there was just whether the fitting was going to clear there, so I'd rather just drill a couple of new holes and then not have to deal with the fitting as such. It looks crooked. So we'll do a new measure, so it's 60mm from that edge. So we'll just there to there. And measuring across these bolt holes was 45, which is like 1 3/4 inches. So how's that going to interfere with these holes? Oh, she's going to be close to them. It should be alright. Might be only a little slither around here. What are you going to do, man? What are you going to do? So I'll drill those and touch them up, maybe. I feel like it sulking now, like shit just not going my way. Oh god. And punch. And punch in the face. In the mush. What's going on with this truck, man? Keeps doing that. While I impatiently wait for that to dry, hopefully those holes will line up. I can still kind of put these in and get the bottom bolts and that done. And then I've got to cut up some fuel, some air line and get that ready to go. Yeah. Yes. Good. Right. Centre hold. This is the tricky part, is getting the centre bolt in. Come on. There we go. Right. One. Unos. Yeah. Oh. Keep wanting to go and put my thumb over it, but that's where I took a big chunk of skin off it earlier. Try again. Go. Real, really? Oh. What have I done? It's the wrong way. There we go. Alrighty, so I've got to figure out how much I want on put on each side of this, with leaving plenty of extra for when it comes up into the boot. I mean, in reality, it's only going to come up to around about here-ish in relationship there, about there-ish. You know, it's going to come up over the under the parcel tray to the, what do you call it, valve block. So might chuck a meter on each and that should be heaps. Alright, so going from that there, and then it's got to come up and over to around about there. So I'll go about that much on each side. I'll cut that. Here's a kniffy. Right, need that. Little T, got to go on there, and then that is going to go on my other little valve. These are real simple, man. They just push in, got enough on them, they just do their thing. So I'll go and plug these into the lines and then we'll have a plate, hopefully. Right, these are the rears. And bear in mind when this is all plumbed up properly in the car, it's not just going to be like one feed to both sides, it's going to have 4 individual valves all the way through, you know what I mean? Just drop this. I'm just going to zip tie these together, just tidy up a little bit for now. And I dropped one of them already, that's awesome. So that's me rears. Hang that up there for a minute. Of course, just it's not my day. Oh, it's coming back around. The zip tie is kind of handy. Got a little bit too much on this one, but that's all right. We'll trim all that up later on. Push, connect. Alright. Stella. How's that for a stellar plumbing job? So they're all tied up out of the way. Now, let's see if they'll hold here. What's this one? I don't know. I'll leave that up overnight with some air in front handback and see if it leaks and sinks. I haven't done any soapy water tests or anything like that because I just really can't be bothered right now. If I get a leak, I'll go looking for it. Till then, if it holds, it holds. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Alrighty, so holding here. That's, I think, the approximate ride height from memory. I can't remember now, but something like that. Yeah. So that's that, man. Like, far out. That. Why does everything turn into such a mission? I sound like a real whinger, but that was supposed to be a nice, easy kind of just bolt some stuff up thing, but. You know, should have bought the bags, those final bags earlier on, but that's kind of what hung me up a little bit. So I could have had it all mopped up in its final kind of mock-uppery, you know, way back then. So now it would just be, you know, bolting it up and clipping it up and stuff like that. But it's all done. All the lines are all clipped up, P-clipped as they have to be for our low volume certification malarkey. Bags are in, bolted in. They seem to, there's no binding or rubbing or kind of stuff like that I can see. There's a little bit of a geometry thing going on with the back ones, but I could potentially push that back a little bit by lengthening the arms, the four-link arms, you know, just putting an extra 5mm on each of those. It would push the whole rear end backwards ever so slightly, maybe 5mm, I don't know. That's about just under 1/4 inch for you imperial speaking folk. Yeah, that fought me. Like, it was going all good, and then a couple of things that I wasn't expecting, and it was like just bloody rain. I wanted this out there so I could just meander around my chassis and work on it without having to climb underneath it and tripping over the things and just tripping over my own feet, having to have the lead lamps and that out, tripping over the lead for the lead lamp. You know what I'm saying? It just became a mission. But it's done now though, so I'm actually really happy. Even though I'm whinging like a whingy thing, I'm actually quite stoked that that little job's done. It means I can you know, pump that up and down and see how it all works. And the slightly smaller diameter bags was a good pick, because I mocked it up with 7s and I went to a 6, slightly less stroke, or about the same stroke I think, but yeah, it just gives me a little bit more clearance for, you know, I was a bit worried about a few things being pretty close to them, and there's at full drop down here, the ball joint stuff are a bit close, but I don't know, it might be alright. We'll have to find out when Cert Man sees that. But in saying that, I still think I'm going to have to revisit my bump stops. I just noticed when I drop the back right down, it seems to be sort of sitting on the bags before the bump stops. Don't think these have got internal bump stops in these airlift bags. Could do. I don't think so though. So I really need to lengthen the back ones and the front ones a little bit, just to get my sort of minimum scrub height dialed in a little bit higher, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, so that's that done. Another little job ticked off the list. Heading towards putting the body back on to the chassis. Next job will be exhaust or firewall, depends on what comes first. Like if the weather's shit again next weekend like this, I might end up doing a bit on the firewall. If it's fine and I can get the chassis out of the body out of the garage and onto the driveway, then I will start piecing together my exhaust system for this thing. I've got some stuff arrived last week, mufflers and elbows and flanges. Gonna make my own exhaust again. It's nothing gonna be anything flash, it's pure function over form, so hopefully it functions. Just a 2.5 inch with H pipe twins out the back somehow. Not 100% sure how I'm going to do the back yet, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I might only take it so far until the body's back on, then I might finish off the last bit with the body on. Don't really want to though. Yeah, I don't know, we'll figure it out anyway. Yeah, so haven't even really got any pearls of wisdom for you fellas. So basically we're done, airbags are in, hopefully it's all good. Seems to be all good, but yeah, and as always, if you haven't subscribed, get on there, hit the button. If you're still watching at this point, most non-subscribers are already checked out at like 34 seconds or something. But you fellas who are subscribed and do watch regularly, looking for the updates on this old Area 51 project, check that floor out. Mean, eh? Check out that shiny floor too. You know, thanks for watching, as always. Thanks for watching. It's really cool. And till next time, take it easy and peace. Oh, okay. Apologies if this video seemed a bit like you know, just not up to my usual high Hollywood standards. Just some, you know, some weeks sometimes I can't even speak, man. Jeez. You know, sometimes you're just kind of a little bit out of sorts and it's hard to get your flow on, get your rhythm going. Some days you just get your rhythm on and you just, everything comes together. Other days you're fighting yourself, your tools, your space, your environment, your confidence, stuff like that. Other times it just flows. Today was one of those. Well, this particular video, it's been over 2 days, yesterday and today. My rhythm got interrupted yesterday and I went out, but that's okay. Like it was not a big deal. I had to go out and do some stuff, but that sort of flow kind of got interrupted and I was starting to get my groove on again with this one today, and then a couple of things kind of hit me and I had to try and do things again and fix things up, and you know what I'm saying, your rhythm gets messed up and then it's just, yeah, you should really just pack it up and go inside for a bit. Have a break. But no, I'm stubborn as I keep pushing forward when my flow gets messed up, and I keep trying to push through, and sometimes I just make the problem worse and I actually end up having to go and redo a bunch of stuff days, months, weeks, years later, fixing my impatient stuff up. But anyhow, I digress.